Hi guys, so today we're checking out the Red Rock 4x4 spare tire license plate mount kit with lights fitting on 1987 and newer YJ, TJ, JK, and JL Wranglers. So this will be great for the Jeep owner who is looking to relocate their license plate, whether they're looking to switch up the styling of the back end of their Wrangler, looking for better visibility for the license plate, or if they have mounted up a new rear bumper or a new tire carrier and are unable to use the factory mount. Now I do really like this system. It is a very user-friendly and straightforward system. You're going to have two pieces of the bracket. One part of the bracket is going to attach to your factory spare tire carrier or an aftermarket spare tire carrier, and the other part of the bracket is going to be mounted right on the front with some quick release bolts. Now this is going to make it very straightforward and user-friendly as far as disconnecting the front part of the mount goes if you ever have to utilize your spare. Now this will also come with the license plate light bolts, which I do really like to see out of a kit like this. It makes sure that it's accommodating for all of the features that you need when mounting up your license plate. This will also come with a filler plate for the factory license plate mount, which I do really like as well. It makes it a very complete kit, and it also gives a very clean look to the back end of the Wrangler. Now this will be made of a steel material, so it will be sturdy and be able to hold up for a long time, and it's going to have a nice black powder coat finish on top to protect that steel underneath. Now I would like to mention that this will not work with the factory backup camera on the JL, so I would just keep that in mind if you are looking to relocate your license plate to the spare tire. However, if you do have a JL and you don't have the backup camera or you're not equipped with one, you definitely will be able to utilize this system. Now with all of that being said, this is going to be pretty affordable for a relocation bracket coming in at roughly $40. Now, in comparison to some other choices on the page, usually the bracket is just going to be styled a little bit differently. Some may come with a filler plate, some may not. Then some other options may come with additional lights like this one, or they may not be included in the kit and you will have to outsource for that. Now overall, I think if you're looking to switch up the styling, you're looking for some better functionality when it comes to your license plate, and you're also looking for an affordable and complete kit, then this is going to be a great choice. Now install is going to be a very easy 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter. There's going to be very minimal wiring included, and you are just going to need a couple of basic hand tools. So speaking of the install, let's jump into that now. The tools that I used for my install were an impact wrench, a wire tool, a soft pry tool, flathead screwdriver, a 10mm wrench, a 3-inch extension, a 21, 11, and 7mm socket, a T30 torque socket, and a dead blow. So our first step to this install is going to be to remove our spare tire. I'm going to be using a 21mm socket, but it will depend based off your lug nuts. Next, we can install our main mount that's going to go on our spare tire carrier. Might need to tap it with a dead blow just to get it over the couple threads. Then what we can do is take our retainer clips and thread those on to make sure that whenever we take our spare tire off, this is not going to come off with it. Then we can reinstall our spare tire. Then we can tighten up our lugs using that same 21mm socket. So next we can take our license plate mount and we can align this with the bracket that's on our spare tire carrier. We're gonna have a couple of bolts and we're going to have a washer and a wing nut for the other side. Just gonna secure one and then the other, make it a little bit easier. Now this is just gonna thread on by hand and be hand tightened. This is gonna make it incredibly easy if you ever have to take off your spare tire carrier. This will just be hand tight. And it is gonna stay in place because the bolt is gonna be set in the bracket. So I would recommend to keep the bolts about a notch away from each other just for spacing for the wing nut. And we can mount up our license plate and our license plate light bolts. So we're gonna mount up our license plate light bolts one at a time. We're gonna have a nut and a flat washer on the back of this light mounting bolt. I'm gonna take that off. Then we can take our wires and run them through the license plate and through the mount itself. I'm just gonna pull these through. And that's gonna hold our license plate in place. And then we're gonna take our washer and our nut that we had just removed, and we can put that through both of the wires. We can secure this to the back of the light bolt. And we'll position it in just a second. I want to get the other one attached. So we can do the same thing for the other bolt. So at this point, now that they're on there, what we can do is take a 10mm wrench, position the light down so it illuminates the license plate, and we can just tighten these up. Next, what we can do is wire both of these license plate lights together. I'm just going to be wiring the positive to the positive, negative to the negative, and then we can take the spade connectors, attach them to our leads here, and then we can use a clip to route this and connect this to our running light for our license plate light. So I am just going to twist the positives together, take the provided spade connector, and attach that here. We can crimp it down with a pair wire crimpers or a crimping tool. Do the same thing for the negative wire. And this is going to create a quick disconnect, so if we do ever have to take off our spare, we can quickly disconnect this, make sure that it's out of the way of our spare tire. We can disconnect the bracket on the outside for the license plate and remove our spare tire. Now that those are connected together, what I'm going to do is route these through our spare, and we can send them through the tailgate so we can attach them to our factory wiring harness. What we can do next is take off our interior panels inside of our tailgate so we can pull our wiring harness through. So I'm just going to use a soft pry tool, and we can just pull back. So this may be a little bit difficult to see, but right behind our spare there's going to be a grommet. That's going to be the wiring harness that comes from our third brake light. We're going to take our wiring harness that we just made and send that through the same location, and we'll be able to pull that out through our tailgate and reattach that grommet. So now we can take our wiring harness and we can run it through our tailgate to our passenger side taillight wiring harness, and we're gonna wire it into the taillight wiring harness running light. So what I'm gonna do is just pass these through. So you don't necessarily have to take this panel off. I just like to have some room to work with. We're gonna run this into our tailgate. And we can take a zip tie and clean this up in just a second. But now we'll be able to remove this side panel so we can access that wiring harness. So to give ourselves some more room to work with, I'm gonna take out these two tie downs here with the T30 Torx. And then that will allow us to pull this panel off. You may need a soft pry tool in order to do this. You don't need to completely remove it, but we just need to move it out of the way so we can access our wires. So after we've moved this out of the way, you should be able to see a grommet that goes into the housing for the taillight. Now there's going to be a couple of wires here. We're gonna have a black and a couple of whites with a couple of color traces. Now the white wire with a purple trace, that's gonna be our running light. I already have a spade connector clip already installed on both the running light, which is the white wire with the purple trace, and the negative, which is the black. But essentially what you're gonna do, this is the clip that came in the kit. You're just gonna clamp this around, and then you're just going to squeeze it with a pair of pliers. And then what you'll be able to do at that point is attach your spade connector. Now what you can do is also directly wire these in and create a quick release up at the spare. That might be a little bit easier than disconnecting this when you need to utilize your spare. However, you can wire it up however you'd like. I'm just gonna plug these into the existing spade connectors, positive to positive, negative to negative. Then we can tuck our carpet back up, tuck these underneath. Pop our trim back into place. So after our trim is back in place, we can secure our tie downs back in place. I'm going to use the T30 Torx that I originally used to remove them. And then we can clean up our wiring a bit. So what I'm just gonna do is zip tie it on the part that is exposed. So I'm just gonna put a zip tie over here, and then another one just so it doesn't get caught up. Trim off the excess. And then we can reinstall our panels on the inside of our tailgate. Just give it a good push. Same with the one on the outside. So our last step is just to remove our factory license plate mount and put in the filler plate. Now our first step to that is just to remove our license plate here. I'm going to use an 11mm socket to remove the 2 bolts on the side. You may be using a 10. It depends on the hardware that is in your license plate mount. Now in order to remove this, we're gonna have 2 bolts up at the top and 2 bolts down at the bottom. I'm gonna start by removing the 2 bolts up at the top using a 7mm socket. I'm also using a small extension with this just because this one is a little bit deeper in or sunken into the mount. Then we can remove the 2 7mm screws down at the bottom once the top ones are removed. This is where that extension also comes in handy. Now once those screws are removed, what we can do is take out our bracket here, and we can disconnect our license plate light wiring harness. So the wiring harness is connected to a bracket or just to a channel here. I'm just gonna use a flathead just to release it from the channel. Then we can move that out of the way. Now at this point, there is a lot of gunk that gets behind this. I would recommend to clean this. We can tuck this back in. So what we can do at this point is just peel the backing off the 3M tape once the area is clean. We can pop this into place, press and hold. And then we'll be all set to go. So that's gonna wrap it up for my review and install. Make sure you like and subscribe for more videos and products just like this, and always keep it right here at extremeterrain.com.